me ask you real quick. You're the MR2. Is that your first car that you ever had, or did you have another car prior to that? Family car or something like that, and then you stumbled across.
My parents, they loved the Ford LTD Crown Victoria, and if I'm not mistaken, they had at least 4 of them. And when my dad taught me to drive on that big old boat, so it was very different when I got the Toyota MR2 because that thing only seated 2 people and no more.
Yeah. It's like right out of the Cannonball Run. I could hear Sammy Davis Jr. questioning Dean Martin. Hey, God's our co-pilot. Where's he going to sit? Where's he going to sit? I mean, literally, that thing rode solo to the ground. Thank God there weren't as many potholes as there are now, because that thing would have just been stuck in one.
They would have it wouldn't have made it. It wasn't built for that car. So to answer your question, the used Crown Victoria, Ford LTD Crown Victoria, it's like a real posh car, and we could fit more people in it. But then shortly after I started driving, I was 15 and I was working illegally, but I was working and I could handle the car payment. So we went and saw that, and I picked it up, and I mean, the rest is history. But what a vast difference. You can't fit a drum set.
That was a new car when you got it.
1989, yes.
1989. That's the year I graduated. So congratulations. Oh.
No, I was 16 in 1989. Yeah.
16. So you take that thing. You took that thing onto the campus, and so what happened? You became the shit, or what? What happened?
Funny thing, it was standard, and I didn't know how to drive standard. And when I got home from school like early than my parents did, I got home at like 3:30. They got home at like 5:30 or later. So during that time I got home and they got home, I would take that car and take it to the middle school down the street and just practice in the parking lot. I mean, going to it was such an embarrassment because I'd kill the car. And if you drive standard, it just, if you don't know how in your first time, everybody screws up. You know what I mean? Everybody just does the old, it dies on you and you look like an idiot driving. But after a little while, I didn't want to be embarrassed. So that's where I learned. And next thing you know, I was taking it on campus. And that's probably why I like blondes so much, because blondes thought it was like a little Ferrari. You know what I mean? And that's a true story. They just, is that a Ferrari? I'm like, get in. And,
the Corpus Ferrari. There you go.
The Corpus. Yeah. The Toyota MR2. That was the Corpus Ferrari.
Yeah. That kind of shows the education level of our school system. Also at the same time, I'm pretty sure our California Achievement Test scores, and that's why they quickly changed through the years to get rid of that assessment test, because he was just putting us in the bad percentile of our school district and stuff like that. Crown and then see, it's funny because in all the other car, the Crown Victoria, that's usually like a cop car, or it has that vibe. I know that there's different styles of it, but usually
this was the big boat box looking. The you know what I mean? Like I don't understand the fascination, but it had a lot of power, I guess, and they kept buying them.
Yeah, gangsters you could put like 3 bodies in the trunk kind of vehicle.
The first one they ever had out of 8-track, I remember it was brown, it was ugly, but that was prestigious, That's
having the 8-track in there. Yeah, most definitely. It worked great when you had the Columbia Record House too. You could just stick all that whole thing in there. That's going to be a whole other show, by the way. The whole I know everybody has a story about that Columbia Record House, and then the BMG. You either put the penny or you buy the one, and then I don't know whoever finished those contracts. That's what tanked the whole music industry, and now they're screwing us with this streaming crap. And well, actually, they're screwing the artists and stuff like that, unfortunately. So the MR2.
Can I say something about that?
Yes,
I was in Best Buy not too long ago, and I was walking, I was looking around. I was like, man, I want to know, what's hot and whatever. I go looking for the music, right? And there's this kid, he's in the movie section, and I had already gone around the place a couple of times. I said, excuse me, where are the CDs? And he couldn't have been over 18, looked like 17, 18. He looked at me and goes, I'm sorry, sir. Nobody buys CDs anymore. And I said, well, I do. And he just like smiled and went back about his business. And I had to hear it again, I guess. So I asked someone at that little round desk in the middle of it all. I said, hey, is it true we're there already where CDs are just obsolete? Oh, yeah, we don't carry CDs. Wow. And that was like I guess an old man wake up call. I guess that's what you would call it. I'm that old now. They're phasing out. And you know, I just don't understand the download. I remember like somebody, it could have been Jason Newsted, I think. I don't know. He would say, man, I love to hold the album, you know, smell it. Something from the 70s, you can smell the age on it. And I like to take it out and look at the liner notes and stuff like that. And that's how I feel about CDs. This downloading crap, you know, I can't tell you when the last time I downloaded anything, it was for my business. And prior to that, it was Napster. Yeah, I just don't download anything. I like to have the physical thing, and I like the mechanics of taking the CD, looking at liner notes, or, you know, if it's a 9 Inch Nails, all the imagery that they put together. And, you know, it's like a little package for me. I hate when I get a CD and they don't have lyrics or art and things like that. But I just find it really funny that, you know, I'm at that point where I'm going to have to start going, okay, I'm that old. You know, I'm just going to have to just deal with it.
So I mean, I know that there's just been this movement to vinyl and stuff like that. That I'm assuming that is not something you've latched onto, unless it's a particular band and then you collect that. That's where you've come across vinyl, I'm assuming.
You assume 100% correct. And I get into fights online about this all the time, just because sometimes I don't have anything better to do. And I will just say that I don't particularly care for listening to little crackly things while I'm listening to, you know, Led Zeppelin 4. I don't like it. And I like new stuff, digital stuff, but not so new that I'm just downloading it. I still want a physical copy of something that I bought. So I don't know, man.
You know, my problem with the whole downloading thing, and I want to say, this is going to sound crazy. In my life, legitimately buying something downloaded from, you know, a service like, hey, this is available to buy. I think I might have legitimately bought possibly 3 items, and that's it. You know, sad to say, I mean, during the Napster LimeWire days, I mean, that's the way it came by. I mean, but if anybody knows me, I had a vast collection of physical media, tons of CDs, very similar, you know, like what it used to be, where I would go to a Best Buy or wherever it was, and there would just be these aisles and aisles, and it would be like, even though I went the following day, or even it was another day, you never knew what you were going to find in those bins. You might have went there one day and it wasn't there, and the next minute you're like, whoa, what's this single from Europe of, you know, this band that I like, but I didn't know that they had this in that. Then you turn it around, it's like, oh, it's a Finland copy or a UK A of a B single and stuff like that. And, you know, a band you had brought up before is like 9 Inch Nails was infamous for breaking down their singles into mini singles, or an A and a B, and then an EP that was not available in the United States. And they had a whole Halo system. And so that if you were collecting those, then that's how you would check it off. And then they would have maybe a foreign edition or whatever. And then occasionally, I think if you went to a Craig's Record Factory, that's back when they were around, you would find these, what they were bootlegs. They would call them imports, but we knew what they were. They had, you know.
Yeah, we knew what they were.
Yeah.
Of all people, we knew. Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah, we're looking at this thing, you know, it's all this homemade cover and everything, and oh, it's an import, and we're just looking at them going, yeah, I know what this is, man. You don't have to, you know, and that's how they would try to legitimately sell these things. And then Best Buy would sell these things as well. It was a very strange time, but you know what? I find it, you know, I think that we grew up in a very awesome time when it came to music and the accessibility of music and the different genres that were available of music, that the era of the music video, and then all the channels that, because it came and went. There's no more MTV per se. I mean, you can find these digital channels and they're like retro MTVs or classic MTVs or MTV Future Hits or MTV hip hop or rap or whatever, but it wasn't the same as turning on the regular cable channel, and there it was on rotation, and you had to wait. You didn't know when this song was going to come on again. And then the shows started developing based on viewer habits. You had the call-in show where you had to vote, and then Home Sweet Home never got off the air for like 10 years in a row. Home Sweet Home was the number one called-in video, to the point they had to do the Home Sweet Home rule that kicked it off number one, because you had these diehard Motley Crue fans. You could say, hey, there's diehard Metallica fans and diehard whatever. Dude, they had one of the most incredible fan bases that kept that song in rotation. It was always there. It was guaranteed. You were going to watch it after school. Hey, and again, for however many months it was, is the Home Sweet Home from, it was an awesome video. It captured them, backstage, the antics that you would see in the circus magazine and the hit parader. But it was there in the flesh, and it had that, that album sucked, dude. That album, maybe the Home Sweet Home, and that was it. That was
man. You don't like City Boy Blues, man?
Oh man, he's got the blues. And Jailhouse Rock.
Man,
and all this.
I love that album.
Yeah, Keep Your Eye on the Money. No, don't get
me wrong,
that
dude. Song,
I
heard.
I know, but
money.
But if you think, but then again, what? I think all the Motley Crue albums, if we base it on that, they all kind of sucked, except maybe the first two and stuff. But I don't know. I mean, they've had their stuff, and I mean, you got to hand it to the guys. I mean, they don't have any dead members, and they're still be able to play a whole show.
Well, I'm sure they killed a few though. Last I heard.
Oh no.
Don't. Tommy Lee's not listening to this, I promise.
No, he's not. I mean, he's got his OnlyFans page now that's about to launch. So,
dang, I read that today, and I'm like, well, that's his prerogative.
Yeah, he just wants an excuse to show all of the. That's the next movie he's going to make, I guess. He has to live up to the notoriety. If anybody saw the Pam and Tommy show, did you watch the Pam and Tommy show that was on Hulu?
I have to be honest with you, Rob. I don't watch TV anymore. I don't watch the news. I don't watch politics. I didn't watch it.
Okay.
I have two TVs in my room, and I think when I turn them on, it's just like YouTube and concerts and stuff. Quillo,
No,
that's it. I'm not interested in any of it.
I've heard other podcasts where they have had different guests and stuff like that, and it seems to be that's a thing now. Television is like much like us going out looking for certain musical formats. It's kind of like going away. People are either streaming something very specifically, looking for something that they want, or they buy the media. But yeah, I noticed that it was heartbreaking going into Best Buy, and then going into that. It's like the giant square that used to be in the middle of the store just keeps getting smaller and smaller and smaller, to the point where you're just going to have just those guys in the middle, there to ridicule you, or, pretend that they're on their computer, and, like Little Britain is like the computer says no, and, and so be it, that's, but yes, the department, unless it's, I don't know. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think of an artist. Maybe let's just say John Mayer came out with a brand new album. They're probably going to have maybe like 20 copies of that available, and then that's it. It's just whatever's hot at that moment. New release is over. We don't have any backstock or whatever. You have to either go online, YouTube, not YouTube. Well, no, I guess if you hear YouTube, they have all these little links that you can buy certain things.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is getting harder. eBay's, Amazon's, and all this. But going back to the whole thing about digital, at any moment they could push that button and bloop, unless it's downloaded specifically in your computer, you really don't own that. It houses it in the cloud, or you've bought it like Spotify.
But you're borrowing it.
Yeah, to me, it's like those virtual movies. It's like playing those Farmvilles and all that. You're buying all this virtual garbage. And then guess what? Nobody plays those games anymore. But I know people that pumped hundreds of dollars into those things, and they don't even have access to their farm anymore. And their little special 3-headed cow that they bought, or, the special golden corn that they put in their Farmville game and stuff like that. So I don't know what happens when something like that happens. You have I don't know. It's like comic books. Comic books have not done the full switch. Buying digital comics, all the people, supply that subscription, and buy a comic book, you get the free book, it's downloadable. But I guess the commodity of the actual comic book is still there, and I think that's what's driving the prices. You never bought comic books, right? You never.
So later on in life, and they were all like the horror, like the Hellraisers.
Comics. Yeah, there's a big collectible.
Clive Barker stuff.
Yeah, there's a big collectible market for a lot of that. Because of the Predators and Hellraiser, now it's coming back, and all these kind of things. People look for those books. I remember there was a time, early 90s and stuff like that a lot of these books, if you wanted to dump these books off, they would basically laugh in your face saying these books aren't worth anything. It's like $1 here or whatever. Now, depending on if it's a first print, if it's in good copy or whatever the case may be, I mean, these things could be several hundreds of dollars, and they're more recent books than not like the old Superman and Spider-Man and all this stuff. Like it seems to be the mainstay. But I have a friend that owns a comic shop, and there's so many different aspects to owning a comic shop, because if you're going to get into collectibles and cards and pops and all this kind of stuff, I mean, your money can really go sideways all over the place, and especially if you're trying to compete with other entities. But you know what I mean? It's much like a music store. If you want to specialize into something, and you've been part of that, you want to try to supply everything, but then if you stick with certain brands, or you become the specialist of certain things, then you end up getting a certain kind of clientele, and you can become exclusive on certain items and stuff like that.
Sure. Yeah.
I'm gonna go back to the question that I didn't even ask you, but usually I ask this of a new guest. How do you like your migas?
Well, first of all, I can honestly tell you, I've never had migas anywhere in any restaurant, ever. I make them myself. I don't know why I've avoided them. I see other people get them, and they don't look appetizing, because, like, I'm a real stickler for eggs. It's hard for me to trust the establishment to make eggs better than me, because they're in a rush to get me the food, and everybody knows, to screw up an egg, all you got to do is like rush the cooking process. I take mine really, really slow. So I do the whole cut up the tortilla and fry it up, and then put it to the side. And then I start, with my onions and bell pepper and red bell pepper and a little bit of garlic and things like that. And then I'll add the meat in there, and then I'll make my egg. I mix my egg in a bowl, whip it up, throw some hot sauce in it, salt and pepper, and sometimes sour cream. Believe it or not, it really does something to the eggs. And then I just whip all that up, dump it in, and right when the eggs are like halfway cooked, then I dump that stuff in there, and I have to eat them with ketchup. And I can't believe so many of my friends don't eat it with ketchup, but I do, and I like to mix Valentina with the ketchup. And so, I don't know what that says about my friends, but they won't even give it a chance. They just look at me like I'm,
No, that's cool. You're part of the ketchup family like us. There's something about the ketchup. What kind of ketchup? Is there a specific kind, or it just doesn't?
Well, I'm giving away.
Yeah, I know you, dude. You've been on a quest to find the miracle mayonnaise of. You were on the quest to find, from one establishments and trying to find it. So I know that you're a stickler when it comes to the taste of a precise brand or whatever that mixes, with what you want.
Yeah. Okay, so here's the secret, right? I'm in San Antonio, but there's a place in Corpus, because I've stayed in Corpus and I stayed here, back and forth. And there's a Whataburger in Corpus, very close to where I stay. And whenever I can catch her, I'll tell her, hey, I'll just like, because you don't have time in that line, it takes forever to begin with. And I'm like, hey, what's up? She's like, hi, how are you? I'm fine. Say, listen, could you just give me an illegal amount of that white Whataburger ketchup, And she was, okay. She's like, my supervisor's not around. Okay. And she just dumped. They come in these little boxes that are trays and they kind of stack them or whatever. She just dumped that whole thing.
Yeah, they're like in three level, right?
Yeah. Just took out the cardboard pieces and with a big old bag that they give you like 30 burgers in and says, here you go. So what I did is I came home in my spicy Whataburger ketchup that's already like very, very low. I'm that miser guy that unscrews the ketchup and every little packet, and I'm putting that the spicy ketchup in that bottle, and that's what I like to use on my Migas and every other instance where I use the ketchup.
Wow. So you're like the Burt Reynolds of ketchup there. You're coming all the way down to Corpus, getting your legal amount or excess amount and making it out, hightailing it out of town.
I'm just afraid that one day I'm going to have to, she's going to call me for that favor. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, you've been winking at me.
Ready to cash it in.
Yeah, but I'll take one for the ketchup.
Yeah, I mean that's a lot of people don't, across the nation don't understand the Whataburger ketchup at all. It blows my mind. I remember when that stuff came out and they were bottling it up, and then we would try to get as many as we can. Hypothetical: you're in the drive window of Whataburger, you order just a regular hamburger, fries, and a beverage. You look in that bag once you've left that drive window. What do you expect to find in that bag automatically? Not being asked, but it better be in there automatically.
Well, I've gotten in trouble more than once for leaving the steering wheel greasy on the way home. So there better be some napkins in there, because if they forget the ketchup, I got that shit at home.
Yeah, you got it back up. Right.
If they forget a straw, I got straws at home. But I'm a stickler for napkins. I'll be driving, I eat some fries, digging in for a napkin. There's no napkins. Like, damn. I'm not going to go back for napkins, but then, I just have to be careful how I put my left and right turns, because I get that steering wheel greasy and then
you're blaming Whataburger grease for crashing into a couple of nuns and stuff.
It's worse when I have to drive with the burger, when I travel, when you travel.
Yeah, you're on the road. You're on the road. Yeah.
You're like, man, I've been away a little bit. The first Whataburger I hit, I'm going to go there. And I do. I remember going to a Whataburger. I think it was in like Santa Fe, New Mexico. And I got a breakfast on the bun. I was inside and I heard the guy go, I want my egg really runny. And they will not do that for you here. No. Over there, I said, hey, did that guy say he wants his egg runny? Because I want my egg runny. Oh, yes, sir. You can have your egg runny. I was like, I want my egg runny. And I was like, wow. I guess kind of like McDonald's in Japan, they got sushi, McSushi or something like that. It's just different climates, I guess. I don't know, dude.
No,
I had to have Whataburger sometimes. And I have a friend that lives in New York, right? And she tells me about this place called Wegmans, and they have really good honey mustard and blah, blah, blah. And so we just said, she's like, I'm going to send you a care package of the stuff that I know that you can't get in Texas. And then if you wouldn't mind sending me that stuff. So I sent her a candle that's supposed to smell like a beach and, like one of those Yeti cups with Texas on it. And, just stuff like that. And I did send her an array of ketchups, the mustard, the jalapeno ranch and all that stuff. And when she got it, she goes, oh my God, I thought, ketchup, but this is really good. And consequently, a few days ago, she was in Louisiana. She found a Whataburger and she said it was everything that I told her it was going to be. So those that just naysay Whataburger, they haven't had it, because it's just really rare that you get a real crappy burger. But that shit's home. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, no, yeah. That's the thing. Those little differences, and I think it was. I'm trying to remember what year it was. It was quite a while ago. and we were going to Kentucky. So right before you leave, you go to Arkansas, you Waxahachie and all those little places up there, so we stopped there. It was at night, and I'm at the drive window and I look, and this is before they brought back the chicken fajita tacos. They actually had the steak fajita taco still on the goddamn menu. And I was like, Mariela, wake up, check this out. And it was right there. The steak fajita tacos were still on the menu. And that's when I knew that, whatever the mainstay is in these different areas, you're going to find little differences and stuff like that. Usually you get your regular menu and then you'll end up having all these little differences, much less you go to a different state and then they have, something that's a little bit different. My brother's a smart ass, my middle brother, Rich. And so when he went all the way to Florida, they went to DQ at the time here, you can get Texas toast and, steak fingers and all this kind of stuff.
Texas T-brand tacos.
Yeah. Everything, so my brother was like, yeah, I want to get some finger chicken, the steak basket with the Texas toast. And they just looked at him like, we don't have any of that. You want an ice cream or, banana split or something like that. Toast. Yeah. They just didn't have that at the time that he went over there. But, the long arm of Whataburger seems to be reaching out farther and farther. To this day, I'm still amazed that they have not put a marker where Whataburger number 1 originally was, and that's right across from Del Mar College East Campus, which is now called the Heritage Campus. But what exists there now is a parking lot, a wireless service company, and this is not even like a major wireless company. It's like, Sancho's wireless service or whatever, and some other service like a locksmith. But there is no marker there at all that says that this is, but Whataburger, we're not going to put anything for this guy. We put everything else for everything, but not this. There's some Corpus bands that have markers over there at, what is it? The Hall of Fame that they have over there.
The Surf Club.
The Surf Club Hall of Fame, all these guys, they had bands and stuff like that. And they're all marked up over there, but, not poor Mr. Whataburger. I'm
mad at Whataburger because, when they left Corpus to go to San Antonio, that was a slap in the face to Corpus. And then when they left San Antonio and just sold to Chicago, sometimes the bread just is not the same. I remember shortly after all that happened, I got an apple pie, and I got to understand, I've been eating those apple pies. I should own stock in those apple pies. And I slid that thing right out of the package. I could not believe what I was looking at. It was a mini apple pie. And I was like, you gotta be kidding. And this wasn't shrinkage due to it being under the lamp all day. This was like manufactured this way. And I was like, man, to hell with these guys. You can't just switch that on me. It's not right. And, us Corpus Christians, we like our Whataburger.
Oh yeah. I mean, every time somebody brings up the In-N-Out burger and comparing it to this, that, and the other, and I mean, it's a different thing altogether. It's one of those kind of things that unless you've actually had one, you really don't have a horse in the race to even argue the spot. You could travel abroad and stuff like that. And there've been some things like what you were saying. Sometimes certain ingredients are not up to par. I'm from the time when we didn't have all these specialty Whataburgers that are available. It's almost like all these different variants that have come about. Cheese and adding bacon or extra meat. That was about as extravagant that we got. Or even thinking of maybe putting some A1 sauce in a burger or something like that. Maybe was another thought. Have you found a place in your heart for one of these specialty burgers?
I did, and then it went away, and then it came back, and they said it's an all-time favorite. They're never getting rid of it. Liars. It was that mushroom Swiss burger, man. I would get it with the extra sauce and ask them to throw some grilled jalapenos on it extra, as many as they could fit on that thing. And that was my burger, man. You couldn't sway me from that burger.
Yeah.
And see, that's what I'm getting at. You know, like if you haven't lived close to Whataburger and you eat it quite often, whatever, then you can't really, you can't say anything, because I remember many, it's not just a eatery or establishment. It's 24 hours, man. So when you get off that gig and it's 3:00 in the morning and you're hungry and like, man, I want a burger, or I want a taquito, or I want a biscuit. Man, they got everything. I can't tell you how many times I've ordered a burger and a biscuit and a breakfast on a bun and an apple pie and a malt. But just because I'm just starving, I hadn't eaten since breakfast that day, and I eat all that. I'll eat it all, and that's it. And I could talk about Whataburger all day, but that switch over to Chicago, I mean, we're all capitalists, and it was bound to happen anyway. There's a couple of things that suffered, but like every now and then Whataburger will disappoint me. Like I used to collect their toys and their little kids meals.
Mm-hmm.
Now they don't have that anymore. You can draw on the bag now and some BS like that. And I remember, there was no mistakes at Whataburger. They wrote your shit right on the bag. You ordered that, they wrote it on the bag, and boom, you got the burger that we wanted. I mean, I don't ever remember my dad getting home and going, damn it, I said no onions.
Yep.
When he said no onions, they wrote no onions, and Mother Scratcher didn't put onions on. And now it's like,
yeah, I remember that. I remember they would pull that bag and it was like an order, and you're going to put that shit in that bag. It would be B-O-B. That's the very first time I ever saw breakfast on a bun. I would look at them, B-O-B, and I was like, oh, breakfast on a bun. That's what it means. And then do you remember the code for mayonnaise? It was an S. They would put an S. When you asked for mayonnaise, they would put an S right there. And then it was like no onions. They would put an O and put a slash through it. All these little things. I remember all these little codes and stuff like that they would put.
Got a better memory than me, man.
Yeah, but see, that hadn't come up yet. I remember talking about that, but yes, the actual writing of that order on the bag. I mean, you couldn't get away from that. It's so much easy to forget. You get a ticket. They put that little piece of tape with the ticket afterwards. And when you get home or when you're driving off, you're like, God damn it. And you see all those onions already falling out of the burger. It's like, did I ask for extra onions? I said no onions. Where did that disconnect happen? And then, you end up with you either getting a trip back or you get a free hamburger on the house when you come back, and then they screw that one up too. So.
Well, I gotta tell you, my number one Whataburger pet peeve, close to not getting what I wanted, is when I get that hamburger and I bite it and there's a fucking root about that big. Like somebody put that in the burger and thought it was okay. I want to know who that person is, because that person's not right in the mind. To take a root of the lettuce and stick it in where I'm going to eat, it's ridiculous. And man, when that happens, I really get pissed off. Because first of all, that lettuce that they give you and the lettuce that's on that advertisement are two different lettuces. Oh yeah, if you know what I'm saying. Oh yeah. So I mean,
how did that get past the inspection control of the lettuce guy? Because I'm going to make that freaking dude take a bite out of that and show me how he's going to eat that stump when he just.
How are you going to eat that? I mean, you're not. I mean, you knew no one's.
He grabbed it with his hand, dude. He grabbed it and he put it on your burger. He knew what the fuck he was doing. Let's give him a bonus. That's not a bonus. That's a fucking lawsuit with my tooth falling out if it's ready to go.
That's God. Right. See. Shit like that doesn't happen at Chick-fil-A. Whataburger could take a page out of their book, man, because the lettuce is nice.
Them, bro.
Dude,
God is watching.
I give a shit. I don't care. I remember about a decade ago, everyone was up in arms because of the whole, they're closing Sunday. And if you actually knew what the owners, the actual owners of so many of these businesses did, you wouldn't eat anywhere. You'd boycott everything. I just look past that. They have a massively craveable chicken sandwich, and I go there for that, not the politics, not the religious efforts or whatever. In fact, me and my friends, we have this joke. One day I'm going to open a business and I want to call it Sunday Filet, and Saturday I'm going to go buy up all them shits and then sell them on Sunday, because I don't know about you, dude, but many a Sunday, I wanted that chicken sandwich just a little bit more than I did the previous day. It was like, shit, they're closed. Yep. I need to have that. You know what I mean? And so it's just a joke, but we joke about it often because how many Sundays have we find ourselves going, hey, let's go to Chick-fil-A. Oh, shit, they're closed. Shit.
Yeah, no, dude, I grew up in the era, and you too. You were little, but shit was closed on Sunday. Remember that? The only place you was getting anything was going to Luby's after church, and then after that, you better have a barbecue being made or something like that, or go to HEB and buy your whatever you're going to make because shit was closed. You didn't go anywhere. It was like a ghost town, like when a hurricane hits and everything's all shut down. That's what it was like. And I like to remind my kids, like, they're like, oh my God, nothing's open. We're going to starve. I'm like, that's the way it was every Sunday when I was a kid. Nothing was open. That's, you better get your fill on Saturday night and stuff like that. Drink holders. Did those exist? Those didn't exist at all. You better have one of those things on the arch of your car. You remember that? The plastic shit? I don't even know how that plastic shit held any drinks because they're so wobbly and shit's going to spill. It's like somebody hold the drinks. So one mono was down on the bottom holding those drinks every turn you went. Or what did they do? They put them in a bag? They put the 4 fucking drinks in a bag? Is that what they used to do?
Well, remember, the drinks weren't as big as they were, so that kind of helped. We weren't as fat as we were back then.
Yeah,
so we didn't
monster drinks like they are.
Yeah, these monster drinks. Like large was, I think it was like a maybe a, I don't know, what is it, 23 or 24 ounce?
Yeah, like maybe a 20 ounce or whatever. That would be your
back in the day. Back in the day.
Yeah, 20 ounce would be your regular drink. It's crazy. I mean, I think I think the Whataburger has retained its size. I saw a side-by-side picture. I don't know who the hell saves their fucking Big Mac from 1980, but they had like a petrified
styrofoam thing, yeah.
And then they showed the styrofoam box or then the styrofoam container, and then they show what it comes in now. And they were doing a side-by of what the Big Mac looks like now compared to this mummy of a Big Mac. It was so monstrous. It was like a huge burger. And I remember it being bigger. It was a bigger burger. I do remember it. The meat was, I mean, the meat is almost translucent now, like steakums now. They're so thin in a Big Mac, not like real meat. You get more bread, I think, than meat. More bread than meat in the.
But you got 3 breads in that motherfucker. That, and that was a big sandwich back then.
Yeah.
And, when it comes to stuff like that, I don't understand why you wouldn't want to keep that same rhythm going with the clown and grimace and because kids still like that shit. I would imagine they do. I mean, that's all we wanted to do was go hang out at McDonald's, and have your birthday there and all that stuff. And now it's so sterile now, and it sucks. And the food is nowhere near anything it is, but it's McDonald's. It's like, it sucks everywhere you go. But in a pinch, sometimes you just want that quarter pounder with cheese and wolf it down, and you feel like shit immediately afterwards.
Yeah, they kind of reeled everybody in with the pandemic. I don't know if we would go there, and every drink across the board didn't matter what size. And I don't know who the fuck orders a small for $1 when you can get $1 for a large. Any size drink, right? Okay, any size drink, $1. Oh, I'll take a small. What the dude? Just get the large. Okay, quietly. You go through there and you start asking for a large. Take a look at that price. It's up to like $1.79 now. They kind of quietly put the prices back. They got everybody suckered into thinking that every drink was $1, but now the large is $1.79, just like their frozen Coke and all this kind of stuff. So they did something smart. They took one for the team there. They said, you know what, everything, let's just drop it. They'll get into the habit of ordering that large drink, and they won't notice until they look at their receipt that they're actually paying 79 cents more. So good job there, McDonald's. We
the fleecing of America as we know it.
Yes, by giving it to you for free and then taking it back right in front of your face because you want that big quarter pounder. 3 quarter pounders now. You saw that, right? There's 3 different quarter pounders. They got regular quarter pounder, and they got the bacon quarter pounder, and they got deluxe, which all that means is like we're going to put like some healthy, nutritious shit in there, but we're going to make you pay more for that. So if you want your lettuce and tomato, there you go. We're going to make you pay extra for that lettuce and tomato.
Okay. I'll tell you what, Metallica, Whataburger is Metallica, In and Out is Megadeth. That's really that's how I feel anyway. And who gives a shit what my opinion is anyway? But man, I've eaten one of those side by side, and yeah, Whataburger wins.